everybody. Welcome to another night of the Night Crew. We're glad to have you with us again. And we have a bunch of really great people on panel as usual. So welcome everybody into the Night Crew. And let's see, where are they? I'll find them here in a minute. There they are. Hey everybody. Welcome. Glad to have you all back with us again. You all looking good, and you look like you're ready to spread wisdom and knowledge and all that good stuff, right? Okay. Well, let's jump right into it. The first topic is Dwayne Davis, also known as Kepi D, is charged with murder in Tupac Shakur's 1996 drive-by shooting death. And there's his picture. One of the last living witnesses to the fatal drive-by shooting of rapper Tupac Shakur in Las Vegas has been charged with his long unsolved 1996 murder. Law enforcement officials announced Friday that 62-year-old Dwayne Kepi D. Davis is charged with one count of murder with use of a deadly weapon with a gang enhancement. The long-awaited break comes in a case that has frustrated investigators and fascinated the public ever since the hip-hop icon was gunned down on the Las Vegas Strip 27 years ago. This case has been reviewed by our homicide team and our homicide detectives for over 2.5 decades, and our persistence in this investigation has paid off, said Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Homicide Lieutenant Jason Johnson. Okay. You know, I read that and I thought, well, it is about time. It has been 27 years. This term, they arrested him for using a deadly weapon with the gang enhancement. I don't know what the gang enhancement means. I imagine that just means he was in a gang, and we know he was a gangbanger. I never was a fan, you know, not because I disliked him personally, just I never did like that kind of music. And I can't say that I was fascinated by the case. I wasn't, but I do remember it. And, you know, I've always heard that there's two ways that gangbangers end up, either dead or in prison, or both. So maybe that's the way it is. Anyway, who would like to jump on that first? Angel, you might want to go first to tell us what that gang enhancement means.
I would like to go first.
You don't want to go first?
I would like to go first.
Oh, go ahead.
When it comes to the rap world, it's kind of scary because mostly all of them, you find them getting murdered every week. A rapper. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a war going. I mean, I know it's a war going on, but it's a spiritual war that's going on, and the rappers are like right there, and they all caught up, and you don't know. A lot of them had gave their life over to the devil. So, and one thing about the enemy, he does not play fair with anybody. He'll give you fame. He'll promise you fame. He'll promise you all this. And then as soon as you say you're going to change your life and turn around, he takes you. So that's why I'm saying every week, a lot of rappers are losing their life every single week.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Tamala. Go ahead, Kim.
Well, first I'll let Angel. Did
Well,
you want
I feel like I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Angel, did you want to say something?
You're on mute. You're on mute, Angel.
No, I can go after you. It's okay.
Somebody say something.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm good. I'm waiting.
Oh, okay. So,
Well, Well, I remember
think
the day. I think I was in college when this. I was at Morris Brown, and I remember it was during the Olympics time. It was the year that the Olympics was in Atlanta, and I remember it like it was just yesterday. So, and I'm just like, it's so long overdue because they knew who did this when it happened. It wasn't like they got new evidence, they got new circumstances, none of that. This stuff was right there when it first happened. It was just when they was gonna bring charges, and that's what they do. You know, I don't know why they held it off so long, but that's what they do. And as far as it's a game, anything something got to do with rappers and these people, street codes and all that, it's always gonna be, they're gonna say gang related so that they can go ahead and trump up those RICO charges. That's what they're doing now. So that's all I really want to say about that. Music now is not the same as back in the day, and being a part of the music industry is not the same. These people don't play fair, and it's deeper than it goes deep because it taps into a lot of different things and stuff that people don't want us to talk about. You throw different names around and it's a problem. But those that are really into the game and understand the game and have studied this, it's bigger than these people that's putting out this music. It goes back to those that can afford to produce these records, and it goes back to the big heads. You know, it's all about money, and it's all about power. And if you're not doing what the people that have the money and the power is instructing to in they puppeteer, then sadly you end up on that end. And I'm sure y'all see a lot that's going on right now within the music industry. So it's a lot of stuff that's about to start coming out. A lot of stuff that's been covered up for years that's finna start surfacing. Um, because you can only do so much in the dark before it becomes into the light. So that's all I want to say.
Okay, thanks, Angela. Angel?
Okay, so I think I think it's a good thing. However, I feel like a little bit like it should have happened a long time ago. I'm not sure what aspects of the evidence and things like that were kind of missing. I can see what you can see from the media, because a lot of times coming from law enforcement, a lot of times that evidence is not even displayed out. They won't give a hint of it or let you know what all they have gathered. They're not going to let you know all the tools they have in the box. So if there's something that they're waiting for, like that smoking gun, you're not going to know. The public will never know what the arsenal of evidence they may have. They may only reveal to you what they want you to know. So that's one thing. So I can't say that. I guess I could say I wish it would have came sooner. I felt like it could have come sooner, but at the same time, I don't know what all, evidence that they had in particular, because there was some evidence that was not revealed, obviously, for obvious reasons. But I also think that, we were all speaking about, coming back from gangs and things of that nature. But when you're in this field and you start digging into the root cause, a lot of it, generational curses, how everybody's brought up, what resources they have access to, all of that contributes to the life of crime. So like just going back to looking at things like that, like for me, if I'm chasing clout, I'm chasing, my clout is my legacy for my kids. My clout is speaking engagements. That's what fulfills me, you know, when it comes to speaking about things on forensics or trafficking or just being a part of helping survivors and victims, right? But on the streets, their clout is different. They don't, some of them haven't had those type of resources and those type of, you know, materials available at their disposal. So they feel like they can't do any better than what's been done for generations in their family. So their clout is how many people can I kill? Their clout is how many lives can I take today? How much money can I make off of these drugs? Their whole, you have to get into their whole mindset. And I guess that's when I get into profiling. It's way more than just money, bling, and status. If you start digging into that root cause, it's way deeper than that. And then until everybody sees that, it's always going to be, that's a gangbanger, that's a this, that's a that. But when you dig a lot further and you get to that root cause, that's when we'll start solving problems. Everybody got to get on the same page.
That makes sense.
Not saying we can stop them, but we'll know, we'll have more insight into that direction for sure.
Yeah, and one of the things about
And that goes back to what you're saying. I'm sorry.
sorry, one of the things, you know, that about this case with this guy and what it was, I mean, obviously it goes a lot deeper, just like Angel's saying, like everybody's saying, but the day, I don't know if it was the day before he was shot or if it was that same night. Actually, I think it was the same night. He was at the MGM Awards, right? Tupac, and he got in an altercation, sorry, with somebody at an elevator. Him and another guy beat somebody up, and so this guy, Davis, and his crew, they retaliated, and that's why he came up to the car and opened fire, because Tupac and another guy beat somebody up, and they retaliated. That's where that came from. I mean, it goes deeper than that, of course, because they were gangs, and this guy here was he one of the Compton? He was in the Compton gang, I think. So that's, you know, people are saying, why was he killed? That's some of the information that at least I don't remember coming out 20 years ago about the fight that happened right before it. And this was retaliation.
We knew about the fight. Yeah, the fight was released back then. So we knew
Okay,
about
I don't
the fight.
remember it. That's all. Yeah.
Because they showed, they had showed a couple clips for, and then it could have been as they showed throughout as the case been progressing, that they've showed little tidbits. But to go back to what Miss Angel was saying, see, a lot of these people join these gangs and join these different things because they don't have an identity. They don't know who they are, and they trying to find acceptance, trying to find something they can belong because of whatever the reason may be. And then it goes back to our homes and how we are brought up, in the environment that we're brought up in. Because if you look at some of these individuals, they are lucky kids. They go home and they're home by themselves, because if they have two parents in the home, both of them are probably working. And when they get home, so they are finding other outlets and just different things. And it goes back to taking away these different programs in the community and taking away the different programs in the school. You know, if we had these different outlets available for these kids, then they would have somewhere to be, and they would have somewhere to belong. But again, all the responsibility comes back to us as individuals. What do we want to see in this world? And how are we willing to change to see change in this world? So, yeah, I agree with Miss Angel.
Okay, thanks, Angela.
And I just want to add one thing, Steve, but you know, let's not make a whole conversation out of it because your viewers. But you know, if they stopped taking Bibles away from kids in school, they wouldn't have to keep giving it to them in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, they take them out of the schools and give it to them in prison. If it was the reverse, maybe. But anyway, let's not go there.
that,
Good point.
that too. That too.
Kentucky guy.
Because when they took prayer out of school, it seemed like a lot of things changed.
I think the girls have pretty much covered it all. I think there's a whole lot I can add. The only thing I find funny about the article is a decade and a half later, but our persistence paid off. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's off a long time. I think I agree with what everybody said. This case could have been solved a long time ago. I think politics, money played a big part in keeping everything covered
course.
up this long.
All right.
Good
Let's
discussion,
look
though.
Let's see what's next on the agenda. Tesla sued for race discrimination by U.S. Civil Rights Agency. As I was reading this, it just really burned me up because I hate this kind of thing. Tesla Incorporated was sued by the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which alleges it created a hostile work environment for racial minorities at its California factory. The agency, formed to protect civil rights in the workplace, said in a lawsuit filed Thursday the electric vehicle maker subjected Black workers to severe or pervasive racial harassment. It also alleged Tesla unfairly retaliated against workers who complained. In Thursday's suit, the EEOC claimed Tesla's mistreatment of Black workers at the Fremont facility started as early as 2015. The agency said non-Black employees repeatedly used racial slurs and made monkey noises, while managers at times addressed Black employees individually and collectively as N-words. Additionally, workers also encountered racist graffiti, including nooses and swastikas on desks, elevators, and vehicles rolling off the production line. This is so wrong on so many levels. I hate racism with a passion. I really, really do. It is so unnecessary, so horrible. It's downright evil, if you want to come right down to it. And how one human being can treat another human being like this is beyond me. I mean, I hate it. And I don't think this is going on just in that one factory in California. If this is allowed at that level, at this facility, I bet you anything it's going on all throughout Tesla. And I would like to hear Elon Musk address that situation. So there's that. I'm sure I'm not the only one that really hates this crap. So who wants to go first?
The sad part is it's not just Tesla. It's like it's everywhere. And that's the sad part. And it depends on the person who wants to sue the company, because some people, when they are in that situation, they just walk away and get a new job, but you have to have a lot of tenacity and say, you know what, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to sue this company because of the discrimination. I'm not going to put up with this. And a lot of people think, some people in the Black community, they never have experienced that, and God bless you. But I have. I'm 52 years old. I have experienced discrimination, and my husband, he laughs at me because he's dark chocolate. He keeps on saying, you have not experienced discrimination. And I said, see, you doing colorism. I said, just because I'm a certain color does not mean that there are people out there that don't like my skin tone. It doesn't matter if I'm lighter than you. If a person doesn't like you, they don't like you. And I've been called the N-word multiple times. So I've been discriminated. I know how it feels. It does not feel good. But I have not sued anybody. But if I had, I would have been a millionaire a long time ago. So this is going on this is going on like everywhere. So it's sad, but I'm glad they suing and I hope they win.
Me too. Kentucky got,
Well, and this is in California.
yeah,
I mean, wow. I mean, who is the GM of this call center factory or whatever it is? And I mean, is he some redneck they found in the mountains? Nooses on the desk. I'm floored over this article. Uh, and I mean, I'm not ignorant. I know racism's still out there, but I didn't think it was to this level. Still, this is ridiculous. Uh, we learn from our mistakes, and slavery was a mistake, a very very bad mistake. And I just I can't believe this is 2023 and this is still going on. This kind of crap, uh, especially in California. That's I don't know, Steve. I don't really know what to say. Lock these guys up, shut the place down. It's ridiculous.
yeah. Yeah, I'm like you, but California is a very liberal state. I would expect something like this in Mississippi or Alabama or Tennessee or even in Kentucky or Georgia, the
Hey,
Southeast.
hey. Not Kentucky now. Come on.
Okay, of course not. Okay, Angel, what you got to say about that?
I mean, I think we all know it still goes on today. It's just pretty much more hidden. People have a hidden agenda. I will say, like, with things that have gone on in the past, politically, it's come out more. But and people are, at first it was just, people do like underhanded things, secret, underhand stuff to you. I mean, I even just having a professional job is doing autopsies and forensics. When I was doing that, one of my supervisors was like, my dad used to all the time call people the N-word, and they were some of his closest friends, and I just don't see the problem with it. So, I mean, there's that ignorance too, where people just, have seen it all their lives and they don't know any different. And then there's that, people are just still doing it, but just more in a more discreet way now. But it's still there. It hasn't changed. It's not going away. People still have their feelings. Some people that are raised in certain households, they might not see anything until their son or daughter dates somebody of another color. And then it, surfaces, it shows itself. Then it's a problem. So, it's still very much alive and never went away. It's just more discreet.
Yeah.
Hey, just to chime in real quick, sorry. Tesla, they've got a real problem. I did a little bit of research on that, and this has been going on. They've lost 3 different lawsuits for racism. One in 2022, and they paid $137 million to a contractor in a racial lawsuit on discrimination in 2021 of October. So they've got a problem, a serious problem.
Yeah. Of course, that kind of money is chicken feed to Elon Musk. It's no big deal for him.
Yeah, but how long I don't care how big corporations they are, how much money they have, how long are we going to allow this to happen?
Yeah, that's a good question. Good question.
Right.
Yeah. Just like Angel said, it never went anywhere. A lot of people and a lot of people not discreet about it. When people give you an avenue to display it, then they display it. And over the recent years, it just seemed like people felt like they have been entitled to speak however they felt, and they didn't care who it affected. I'm not a racial person. My family is multiracial. So we have different ethnic groups in our family. Never been around. I've not been around or suffered from racism. Well, I did hear in Myrtle Beach at the Bank of America. I think that was one of the first times that I can really say that I have been discriminated against. And when I tell you that thing hurt me, that it really hurt me. I took to social media about this thing, and I think the bank ended up reaching out to me because I've never been put in a situation like that before. And it made me feel some type of way because I just never experienced nothing like that. And in the day and time that we're living in now, you would think that we would have progressed and not regressed. So you would think that this is the 21st century. You wouldn't think that this is still happening, but a lot of people, they show their true colors. They've been showing their true colors, and it's not good.
Kim?
It's not good.
Kim?
Yeah,
She's
I
muted.
don't know. I don't know. It just breaks my heart. It makes me ill, and I don't know what to say about something like this. I just don't know what to say about something like this because there's no excuse. There's nothing I can say to make it right or better. I hear these ladies saying that it's never going to end, and that it honestly makes me. Anyway, I don't know. It's just sick, and I'm sorry. I know that doesn't really mean much, but I can't. I don't have anything that's gonna. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I wish we could say something to make it better, huh? But there's really nothing we can say. All righty, moving right along. New York City flooding and damage assessed after state of emergency declared. This one really surprised me and a lot of people in New York as well. New York has officially transitioned into the recovery phase after Governor Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency following historic rainfall and flash flooding, officials said over the weekend. The governor's declaration came as torrential rain pummeled the northeastern U.S. Her pleas for residents to stay home echoed by New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who also asked New Yorkers to shelter in place. Most people heeded the call, the governor said Saturday, though at least 28 rescues were conducted by New York Emergency Services, she said. Brooklyn was particularly hard hit by rising water, with shocking videos showing streets and subways underwater, and one hospital forced to evacuate more than 150 patients after electrical damage forced its temporary closure. But this is really sad, all the things that's going on in New York City, and really having a problem with all the migrants there that's being bused there from the southern border, and they said that was destroying the city, the mayor did. I know they got this flood that I've seen some of the films on the news, and subways were flooded and hospitals flooded and all kinds of places. It's really turned into a really horrible situation. So, yeah, I could say it is a state of emergency, though. Anyway, I'm glad I don't live there, huh? Go ahead, Kim.
The funny, I've shared this with you guys before that here, our media is censored. We have a communist government right now, so our media is censored. And when you sent me this, Steve, I was doing some research up on it, and I was like, why do we not see these? Why are we not hearing this stuff? But we don't. So when you send me these things, I do some research. I'm like, wow, like it's just down the road from me, and I didn't know about this. And this is just the last 2 days. So it's incredible. And it got me thinking years ago, if you guys remember years back where they had all those floodings as well, and the subways, we saw those pictures with all the water coming up from the subways. Like, obviously the infrastructure, I mean, they got millions of people in this small place, but the infrastructure needs to be taken care of. Like, this is not the first time this has happened. So they need to be doing something about this. Like, this, it's called historic rainfall, flash flooding. I mean, if you're somebody like me and we see this happening all over the world, because I get sent news stuff from other people since I'm not getting it, I get it from other people so that I can go and look at. It's happening since, I think it was since the beginning of August, if I'm correct. You guys might know, all over the world. All over the world, there's flooding happening. Greece is going underwater. What is it? Somewhere in the couple places in the Middle East, all over the world. Japan, New York City. I mean, folks, come on. Let's keep our eyes open. Let's be awake.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Kim. Tamala?
Yeah, I agree with Kim. It's everywhere because just last week it was Atlanta, or the college. The college students was trying to get out, and it was flood. I said it's weird because it's like in one spot. Like, it's not everybody, but it could be across the street. It's like, it's just weird, but that's how. And I'm always gonna talk spiritual, but God is just amazing how you can be right here in your neighborhood and cross the street, they flooded, and you looking at them, and you okay. It's like just weird spots. The water is everywhere, but not next door. So it's just weird floodings everywhere. Very weird.
Yeah. Kentucky guy?
I think there's just something crazy going on with the weather, man. It's not just flooding. I mean, last year was fires. There's just something. And then last year also they had the real cold snow that froze up our electric grids, and it's just like they said, it's amazing, but it's odd. And I've really looked into this over the last 2 years, and I can't put my finger on it, but something's going on, and it's just not here in the U.S. I mean, look what just happened over in Hawaii and so forth. So,
Well, that's called
but
geoengineering, kind of guy. That's called geoengineering.
I didn't want to come out and say it, Kim, but yeah.
They're doing it.
I do think that I think she's right. I think a lot of it is kind of like the pandemic. I call it a plandemic. A lot of it's planned out. Once again, everybody needs to do their own research, but I think once we start peeling back the layers, we're going to be pretty shocked of who's behind this.
Yeah.
Well, on a spiritual level, we know. We've read the book. We know what's happening, but on a non-spiritual level, which, it's impossible for me to say that, but whatever. We also know the geoengineering. It's coming out. It's not just us conspiracy realists anymore. It's coming out.
Yep.
That's a fact. Angela?
For sure.
Um,
I agree. I totally agree. But again, go back to infrastructure. A lot of these places need to look at their infrastructure because it flooded in certain parts of Atlanta. I'm here in Atlanta. I just happen to be here in Atlanta. It did nothing in the area that I'm in. No streets flooded, no nothing flooded. It was normal. But what was going on over near the college campuses, and you think about the area that they're as well. So yeah, I agree with Kim. I agree with what has been said before me, because there's a lot that is playing a part in this stuff. Yeah. My friend was just she just posted a comment about Charleston. Yeah, it was bad there. They're having to build anybody building new homes are having to build on stilts, as well as in Myrtle Beach as well. Um, but again, we have to keep looking and making sure that we stay woke and stay on top of things, because a lot is going on right in open sight. They're not hiding nothing no more. Everything is in plain view. But it's up to us to cipher it and to see through it and to do what we have to do for us. So that's it for me.
Okay, thanks, Angela. Angel?
I don't really have much on this one except for I'm kind of, piggybacking off of everybody else. I kind of feel like it's weird. And there's just something going on for sure. But I don't have too much on this one.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? Or anybody got anything else to say on that? All righty. Here we go, Kim. We're coming into your neck of the woods. Justin Trudeau apologizes after Nazi veteran honored in Parliament. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has apologized on behalf of Canada's Parliament after a Ukrainian man who fought for a Nazi unit was unwittingly applauded in Parliament. This is a mistake that deeply embarrassed Parliament and Canada, Mr. Trudeau said on Wednesday. Speaker Anthony Rota, who has assumed responsibility for inviting Yaroslav Honka, 98, resigned on Tuesday. The incident has drawn global condemnation. Mr. Trudeau also apologized directly to Ukraine's leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, who was visiting Canada and present in Parliament, saying Canada is deeply sorry. The Ukrainian leader was among those pictured applauding Mr. Honka, an image that has been exploited in Russian propaganda. All of us who are in this house on Friday regret deeply having stood and clapped, even though we did so unaware of the context, Mr. Trudeau said. It was a horrendous violation of the memory of the millions of people who died in the Holocaust. Well, yeah. And I read about this a couple of days ago, and at that point, Trudeau had not apologized. He didn't feel like he had anything to apologize for, but apparently, after all the bad publicity, he's changed his mind. He's kind of done a lot here lately to get people infuriated. And Kim, I know you probably at least heard about this one, didn't you? So go ahead, you can start us off on this.
Yeah, forgive me in advance if I go on a little rant, because there's so much to unpack in this little thing. So first of all, if you saw the videos, if you saw the news, some of the first ones to stand up after the Speaker of the House stood up was Trudeau and his potsies. And clap and clap. Okay. I understand that we could all be in a room. We don't know everybody. And there are some guests in there. I get it. And some people don't know who they are. So if the Speaker of the House stands and the Prime Minister of your country stands, you stand and you clap. I get that. They don't all know who this man was. But is it not the job? Is it not the responsibility of the leader of a country to know who is in his, if he's going to stand up and applaud somebody and give them a standing ovation, should he not know who that person is? So he's saying this is a violation and all those people died in the Holocaust, yet he stood up many, many times and called people who were unvaccinated Nazis. He compared unvaccinated people to the Nazi Germans. He's just an evil puppet, and I just don't really have anything nice to say about him. I pray for him. I do. I pray for him all the time. But there's nothing good about this man, nothing at all. And the thing about this, I'll try not to go on too much farther, but I just want to bring you guys up to speed on something that most of the country doesn't know about, or most of the country has a fish. You know, as human beings, we have like a 6-second memory, right? We forget things so quickly. In June of 2021, I'll actually just read you a little bit of it so that I don't get it wrong. Liberals take House Speaker to court to block release of unredacted records about fired scientists. Speaker Anthony Rota in the House of Commons on Parliament Hill called the court action an urgent matter and vowed to vigorously fight the government. So this Speaker of the House that stood up and applauded, and him too, not really knowing who this guy was, shame on him. This same guy who just stepped down was the same guy in 2021 trying to take the Liberal government to court to release, because he had all of this evidence of all of these scientists that were fired because they were coming forward and speaking against the vaccines and stuff like this. And the Liberal government wanted nothing to do with it. So for me, 2 years later, this thing happening, I think it was a setup. I think it was a setup. There's something more to it. I think, I don't know. I don't want to say that Nazi guy was planted there. I have no clue. But I think there's something bigger to this story, because that same guy tried to take Trudeau to court and the Liberal government for what they were doing illegally. And we all know, the world knows what Trudeau did was completely illegal. And he got away with it. And so now this guy is paying for what he did to Trudeau 2 years ago, tried to do to the Liberal government.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can
And-
go on and on, but I won't.
Angela, you want to go next?
Yeah, I really don't know a whole lot about this particular article or this particular incident. So I'm gonna pass on this one.
Okay. Angel?
A part of me, I know he had to issue a public apology, but some part of me feels as though he might not have felt he did anything wrong until he got criticized for it. Felt like he was, I mean, just his behavior and everything that's been told to me, just in conversation, with you, Kim, I just feel like this was intentional, and this is like a political move to apologize for it. I don't feel like he's really sorry.
Yeah, I agree. Kentucky guy?
Yeah. Anybody that knows me knows how I feel about this guy. There's a thing when it comes to politicians and people that are, especially dictators, prime ministers, and what have you. It's called vetting. And don't get on there and tell people that you don't know who this guy is at this big of a function. They knew exactly who he was. They knew there would be backlash. They didn't care. However, when the backlash got to be too much, he had to do some backtracking. This guy, he is the totalitarian government tyranny, just like the guy in Ukraine. And that's why he apologized to him. The Ukraine guy knew who this was as well. I mean, these leaders don't do anything blind. They know what's going on. They know who's sitting around them. They know who their grandparents are, their kids. I mean, they know. They've got people that they hire that vet these people before they're even allowed in the same room. So, once again, Trudeau, he got caught. It got a little bit hotter on him than he would like. I don't know if this is an election year or not in Canada, but I can't believe he got back in the last time. But anyways, his state of emergency was, I mean, everything this guy does is illegal, and he's in the history books, but he's going to go down as the worst prime minister Canada's ever had.
All right,
That's all. Yeah, I don't want to get too heated on him. So
okay. Tamala,
He is just like all our leaders because they stand before us and give a persona of, here I am, everybody. You know, and they give you what they think the people want to hear, but when you start studying them, then you realize they know more than what they know, and they just want to tell us a little bit, or they want to play the dumb game. Well, you're not that dumb. You were smart enough to get in office, so you know something. So quit playing games with us. So he was just trying to play that game, and he got caught, like everyone else said. And you can't. People are tired now because we're voting for you. We're putting you in office. We looking for you to set an example because you want us to be a good example, but you don't want to be a good example. So now people are speaking up against all the leaders, him and all the leaders, because they just tired because you want to be seen, but what are you doing when you're being seen? And stop lying to the people. You want us to be honest, won't you be honest? So that's all I have to say.
Yeah. I just want to add quickly there. Sorry, anybody who was going to jump in. I just want to add quickly some, a little bit of Kentucky guy and what Tamala just said too. He knew what was kind of going on, but here's the thing. This isn't his, he didn't just become prime minister 2 terms, which I can't believe, but he was raised. His father was prime minister of Canada. His biological father, as Kentucky guy and I, both believe strongly, as most of our country does, his biological father, the leader of one of the most dictatorship countries, Cuba. So, I mean, he knows a lot about politics. So he's not dumb. Just like, Tamala just said, he's smart. He's smart enough to go into office. He was raised in it. His father was prime minister. Since he was born, he was raised up in these environments. He knows what's going on. And he's not for the people at all. He's all about power. Some people come into power, they really are for the people, and then that power goes to their head and then they lose it. He's never been for the people. He's always been about power. Always, always, always.
yeah. And there is that rumor that he's an illegitimate son of Fidel Castro, right? But I think that's been debunked.
They look exactly alike, 100% exactly alike. They're spitting image of each other.
Yeah, I seen a picture of both of them side by side. Put a beard
And his
on
mom
their
was-
nose. It looks just like him.
his mom was a swinger also. If you do some research on that, so there's no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. All right, what's next? The threat of government shutdown ends as Biden signs a temporary funding plan. Thank God it happened. The threat of a federal government shutdown suddenly lifted late Saturday as President Joe Biden signed a temporary funding bill to keep agencies open with little time to spare after Congress rushed to approve the bipartisan deal. The rushed package drops aid to Ukraine, a White House priority, opposed by a growing number of GOP lawmakers. But it increases federal disaster assistance by $16 billion, meeting Biden's support request. The bill funds government until November 17th. After whirlwind days of turmoil in the House, Speaker Kevin McCarthy suddenly abandoned demands for steep spending cuts from his right flank and instead relied on Democrats to pass the bill at risk to his own job. The Senate followed with final passage. We're going to do our job, McCarthy said before the House vote, we're going to be adults in the room and we're going to keep government open. You know what really bugs me about this? You know, they say that they didn't give money for Ukraine, but at the same time, they put $17 billion in there that can be used for that. So, yeah, that's politics for you. You know, they give with one hand, take away with the other. And this whole thing just smells really, really rotten, you know, and let it go right down to the wire. And it's like and I truly believe they deliberately try to keep us all in a state of panic. That's just something that they like to do. And they do it pretty well. You know, they do it pretty well. So who wants to jump on that?
I don't really have much to say on this one, but I'm glad they did put something in place, and hopefully they can get something long-term quick.
Yeah, I hope
The
so.
small businesses that see all of it.
Okay, go ahead, somebody.
This aggravates me because why they keep on playing with folks? We already know the money was spent on this war for the Ukraine and Russia war. We know that. So quit acting like we stupid. Oh, no, we didn't spend. Yes, you did. Quit acting like that. And then you want to hurt people who work hard. You taking money from those who got Social Security. You keep on saying there's no money for Social Security, but you're giving money to a different country. Then you say you talking about you want to shut down. You don't just hurt the people over here. You hurting the people who work for you. So when you do a shutdown, the people who work for the government don't get paid. And last time we had a shutdown, everybody who worked for the government, they was told you better show up. No, you're not going to get check. You're not going to get a check. You're not going to get paid, but you better show up. It was like, dang, or they in prison where they have to work and don't get paid. It was just ridiculous. So to just take money away from folks, knowing that you got a 6, 7, 8 figure paycheck, that is so unfair because you taking money for everybody else, but here you got millions and millions of dollars. You can survive. But the people who you are doing a shutdown, they cannot survive. That is so just evil to me.
Yeah, that's true. And Congress is going to get paid no matter what. They never cut their pay. And they can vote themselves a raise anytime they want to. Isn't that interesting? What do you think, Kentucky guy?
I think it's positive that they come up with they kind of put a Band-Aid on it, a short time solution. Here's my problem with this. If you watch when Chuck Schumer announced this yesterday, you would have thought that they did something amazing. No, you did your job and you waited to the very last minute to do so, is the way I feel about it. And Biden's to blame as well. The first deal that he had with the Speaker of the House, it was a horrible deal for the Americans, a great deal for the elites in Ukraine. Let's just be honest about it. And I'm glad that there are some GOP Republicans in the House that put pressure on McCarthy to walk away from that deal. And if he signs that deal, I mean, we're already spending money that as fast as we can print it.
Yeah.
We don't have it. We don't have the money that they're spending. After all these Green New Deal crap and all that stuff last year, I mean, we're broke. Let's just be honest about it. And this government, this administration is just, of course, he's going to sign it right away and keep the government from shutting down because he can blame it all on the other party. Election year is coming up, so he's got to play something because he definitely fails on everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So can I ask a question? Because I don't understand why I don't know much about this. Why it says he waited till the very last minute. Like, I'm not sure I understand. Like, I know he's another puppet. I get this. And the very last minute, and I'm listening to Tamela speak about that, and I get that, because our government's doing the exact same thing. We're in worse shape than we have ever been in financially. People can't afford to buy, I've mentioned this before on here, a stick of butter, and they're spending. But the United States has sent over 70, not millions, Tamela, they sent 75 billion over to the Ukraine while your country suffers. Our government's doing the same thing. Not as much because we're not as rich, but over 8 billion or 9 billion, plus all the military stuff that we've sent over, while his own people, our country, are suffering like never before. Never before. Even in 2008 when we had our recession, it's so much worse. So I don't understand the last minute thing here. I just don't understand that.
And it's like to keep us all in a state of panic, and so they can pretend to be heroes at the last minute,
It's all political.
grandstand.
Yeah, I agree with Steve. It's all political, every bit of it. It's like a chess game. The only thing is, the guy that we're playing against, he's got Barack Obama in the basement telling him what to do. So, oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Okay, Angela?
That was cut off a little bit. I didn't hear all that. It cut out.
You want to repeat that, Kentucky guy?
Oh, do I have to?
No, Kim didn't hear it all.
No, I just said I just said that it's all political. I agree with what Steve was saying, every bit of it, and it's like a chess game. And the problem is yeah, I'll go ahead and say it again. I'm not afraid. The problem is that the Sleepy Joe has Obama in the basement running the country for him. So
Okay,
and then there was silence again. Yeah.
we're giving you a break. Angela, do you have something to say on this?
I just say they just need to do their job, and they just need to do what's in the best interest of the people, and stop focusing on them, and say they need to worry about taking care of this country. They need to worry about taking care of home and what need to be taken care of, instead of worrying about everybody else. If they worry about taking care of stuff that need to be taken care of here, then they might can afford to do something. But we want to save everybody else. Who's going to save us? Who's going to save us? Ain't nobody finna step in and say, well, okay, well, we're going to give y'all this so that y'all don't have to go into a shutdown. No, ain't nobody finna save us. So now they need to be looking at what they need to cut back on, and stop trying to save everybody, and stop trying to please everybody and be everybody's friend. Sometimes we got to worry about us. And as leaders, that's their job. We put these people in place, and they need to do what we need them to do.
That would be nice. That would be nice. All
But
right.
it seems like we have a shutdown every what? It seems like every time it get close to time for an election coming up, they always want to shut down the government.
I'd like to get that attention on them. All righty. It's the last but not least. Christian venues cancel men's ministry after it defends biblical gender sexual identity views. Here's another one that kind of ticked me off. Promise Keepers, a prominent men's ministry, has seen some of its events at Christian organizations and churches canceled in recent months. The reason? According to Ken Harrison, Chairman and CEO of Promise Keepers, one of the causes centers on this organization's traditional and biblical views on gender and sexuality. One venue was worried that we would offend people by expressing our belief rooted in scripture about gender and sexual identity, Harrison said. Others said they didn't want to draw protesters or simply didn't give us a reason. The Promise Keepers have been around for a long, long time. And the whole premise is that to encourage and help men to be good family members, to be good parents, to be good husbands, keep their promises to people that they care about. It's always been a very positive thing. And now they want to, keep talking about the scripture and stating their beliefs and about the scripture and about what God says. But now here comes that political correct thing, and again, that says they can't do that. So that really ticks me off. So who wants to jump on that one first?
Well, it's very aggravating because, like, California had already passed the bill where parents are not allowed to say that their children cannot have a sex change. So if the parents say my child cannot have a sex change, the parents will be arrested. And here in Ohio, they're trying to pass this Act 1. It failed the first time because they want us to vote for it last month, and everybody said no. So they're trying to rearrange the words and say, well, it's trying to protect those who want to get an abortion. Well, you a lie, because you're trying to say that children under 18 can get a sex change. So anybody who is saying that a male should be a male and a female should be a female, they are attacking them. They want them prosecuted. They want them in jail. They want them to be quiet. You don't say anything to me. It's okay if your little boy wants to be a girl and your girl wants to be a boy, as long as you keep your mouth shut. And this is where we at. And it's sad, but they are ready to put people in jail, because if you speak against it, they want you to go to jail. They want your mouth shut. And it's sad, but they just getting bold by the day. And it's horrible.
Yeah, I agree. Kim?
Well, I'm sad that this organization is having to cancel events because of the pressure. Well, because of the venues, the venues are canceling on the Promise Keepers.
Yeah.
Because they are afraid of the protesters, the this, the that. They're not standing strong. Like, if you're holding an event and you know that it's Promise Keepers, then you know what it's about. So, stand strong and forgive me for saying it like this, sister, but I know you're a pastor and I'm going to say it anyway. Grow a set and stand strong. And it's just really sad. Promise Keepers has been around for a long time, but you're right. The world has come to this, us here too in Canada, in Ontario, you can't, man, you're just the biggest hater in the world. You're the biggest racist. You're the biggest everything in the world if you don't stand up to this bullying. If you stand up to this bullying, you're called a hater, right? And it's just becoming too much. I think people are losing. We just had a massive protest here in Canada. I don't know if you guys heard it. It was the 1 million child march. up at the school boards and stuff. And I think people are losing focus. It's not these marches that we're doing. It's not about, God will deal with you. We are commanded to love, right? We're commanded to love. And, Angel, we've had a conversation about this already. We love people. You could be gay, whatever. We're going to love you. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it. But the point of all of this is we need to keep it out of the schools. They're taking the rights away from parents, telling the parents they have no say. The teachers have all the say. There's so many memes going around. A woman they have a baby. Oh, is it a boy or a girl? I don't know. Let's let the kindergarten teacher decide, right? Like, keep it out of the schools. It's not their place. It's not their place. God will deal with each of us when it's time. We're going to love one another. Keep it out of the schools. You have no right. You teach my children mathematics, English, you teach them those kinds of things. You have no right. You're not a doctor. You can't go tell my kids that it's okay for them to be male if they're female. That's malpractice on a doctor's point. So why aren't these teachers getting sued, right? They won't, because it's a government agenda again. But these Promise Keeper ministries, I'm saddened. I'm saddened because the venues are giving in to the bullying. And our governments are the biggest bullies out there in North America. Nowhere have I ever seen it in my life, and I'm sure most of you guys too, the bullying from government like this. I mean, obviously we, in the 40s and 20s, 30s, we understand that with Hitler and stuff, but I'm talking about North America. This is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Promise Keepers
Yeah.
have been around for decades. And I don't remember when they started, but it was a long time ago. It really was.
Well,
It,
they don't like for people to stand on the truth and to speak the truth. When you're speaking and standing on the truth, then it becomes an issue, and they don't want that. If it goes against their agenda, and it goes back to these babies can't decide or know. Who's to say when that child, if you allow them to get a sex change at 14 and 15, and I'm just gonna share this because I have family members that have been gay, and they decide that they don't want to be gay no more. What if they went and changed their body when they was going through that phase? So sometimes we have to stop trying to pressure stuff on these babies. Allow these babies to be babies. There need to be certain stuff in place, but you can pass a law. I don't see how you can pass a law where you would allow a male to compete against a female because they identify as a female. They were born a male. They are male. They still are not a female. It just screwed up how these people think and what they think is right.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you tell a woman that she can't get rid of a child that may be deformed or may have physical disabilities or whatever it may be, but she may not want to carry that child, but you can tell a child that they can change who God made them in the womb, but you get that power and authority? Again, anybody that go against the word, we always get it because we stand on the truth.
Well, and we know that the enemy is working overtime, isn't he? The enemy is working overtime, and we haven't heard the last of these sort of things either. The enemy is working overtime. It's going to go for our children, right? It is, we need to wake up. The church is sleeping. I'm sorry if I offend anybody. The church is sleeping. These marches that were happening in Canada, a lot of them this time around was originally, the original parts of it were organized by the Muslim community. And I was so happy because they started standing up. Where's the church standing up? We just don't want to, we need to stand up and we need to take back some ground. But here's the thing, like with some of these, whether we agree with it or not, we don't even need to, if you're an adult, let's say you're past 21, and in the States it's 21 before you can have a beer, right? So if you can't even have a beer, how can you decide if you want a penis or not? Really, come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a boy so bad when I was young. I was a tomboy. I wanted to always be with the boys, climbing trees, playing trucks. I grew out of it. You know, if you're 21 and you decide you want to have a sex change, that's on you. You know, that's on you. No child should ever, no parent, nobody should have the right to be able to make those decisions ever. Right? A lot of these parents, you know, some of these parents we're looking at, they really wanted a boy, they really wanted a girl, but they got the opposite one. So now they're just like, there's a lot of these cases coming out now. It's just ridiculous. Children are children. Did you see the one about the man who puts $10,000 cash in front of the boy and he puts 2 Oreo cookies in front of him? Did you guys see that?
No,
So a little boy sit down and a man comes up and he goes, here's $10,000. He goes, do you know how much $10,000 is? He goes, no. And he goes, you could buy a whole candy store. He was just telling him, like, you could get so much. And then he puts 2 Oreo cookies in front of him. The boy must have been like 6. He goes, okay, so here's 2 Oreos. Here's $10,000 that can buy every candy store in your all the candy in your store. Which one do you want? The boy goes for the Oreos. And he goes, are you sure? Like, think about it. Like, this can buy a lot, but it's instant gratification, right? The boy wanted the Oreos. And that's just you do that, and now you're telling me that kid has the choice to choose if he wants to be a male or a female?
Yeah.
He wants Oreo cookies over 10,000. Do you understand that kind of logic?
yeah, I understand what they're saying. I remember when I was a kid, I used to prepare a nickel over a dime because it was bigger, you know? So I get you. Angel?
Oh, this topic gets me. Okay. So, just touching on a couple of points that I've heard thus far. I kind of jotted them down so I wouldn't forget. But just going back a little bit. So, with the LGBTQ community pushing things, and I'm just coming, I was raised in a religious household. I am religious. However, I know how to think outside of the box as well. So when I say this, it's not just, you know, because I'm not religious or what somebody may perceive. But, you know, if we're talking about bullying and the idea that the LGBT community is bullying or pushing these ideals on us, when does it, I guess, what is the trigger that causes it to go over into bullying? Because Black Lives Matter and other communities push their motives on us, and it's not considered bullying. However, there are plenty of people of other races that will be like, they're pushing this on us. They're making us accept them when we don't want to accept, you know. So why is that not bullying, I guess, in our eyes? But when it comes to the LGBTQ community, does that agenda becomes bullying? If that's the case, are we not bullying when we're fighting for our rights as, you know, people in religion, or fighting for our rights at, you know, and pushing that religious agenda on other people? Is that not bullying? Is it not bullying when Black Lives Matter is doing all of these promotions and things because they want to push this agenda that you are going to accept us? We're here and we're your equals and you're going to accept us no matter what. Is that not, you know, teetering on the edge of bullying? Because to me, it looks like they're just they want to be accepted. Do I feel like it's, you know, kind of an overload? Sometimes, you know, in the back of my mind, some of it does come like it's coming on like at this time really hard in all different aspects of the media. But I just see that side too. And I feel like, you know, we are pushing so much against this because of religious reasons, but what are we doing in our daily lives that is still a sin? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's coming off a little judgmental, but at the same time, I understand where everybody's coming from the religious aspect. And if you want to just hold on to the religion, then let's take a look at our inner selves. What are we doing daily that is against our religion? You know, it's not just them in a category all by themselves. Yes, they're standing every day and they're doing what they shouldn't be doing according to the Bible. But we're just casting a lot of judgment, I feel, and not kind of looking, I guess, maybe a little deeper than what the surface is. I had another point, but I'm sure it'll come up again once somebody starts talking. But that's kind of where I stand. Do I feel your children should make that decision as they're younger? No, I don't think that should be a decision. I should believe that it should be made as an adult, right? An adult should make the decision on their sex change. Am I going to shun my child because I do have a child that is, that is gay? Am I going to shun him because of that? Absolutely not. Like I said before, worked a lot of cases, a lot of autopsies of kids who were just, their parents just shunned them because of this. And after seeing so many deaths and working so many autopsies that could have been prevented, absolutely not. I would never turn that eye on my child. I may have a different religious standpoint, but my child is still my child at the end of the day. And I'm going to support them regardless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to really cut in here because I'm going to forget everything I was thinking. I didn't write it down and I should have, but I 100% agree with you, Angel. We talked about this before. And for me personally, this isn't even about a religious standpoint for me. Okay. Because that's why I said God will deal. We're commanded to love it. To me, it's not a religious standpoint. And I've mentioned before that I have members of my family as well, not my child. So it is different. My sister was bisexual. My uncle was gay. Love that, would never shun, never, ever even cross my mind. So I just want to tell you that, but bullying, is it bullying the Black Lives Matter and every child matter, all these things? I guess it could be borderline if you want to look at it that way. I'm hearing you. But my standpoint is, I don't know any other organization, whether it be religious, Black Lives Matter, Native Indians, with, every child matters. I don't know any other platform where it's a must. It's all about them. It's a must. Everywhere you go, you have sidewalks painted with the rainbow. You have schools. You have churches with the flags. You know what? We can live in a point. We can come to a point where just be you. You be you. Where's the narcissism going to end? Where it has to be all about you. Okay? Be you. You know what? If you love this woman, then do what you need to do. I don't have to agree with it. I don't agree with, with one of my friends my best friend's husband's having an affair, right? Like, I don't agree with it. You go do you. You're going to do whatever you want to do. So in that part of bullying, it's in your face bullying. You even go to certain stores here now and they're saying, would you like to donate to the LGBTQ? Sorry, I'm not being offensive by that. I can just never remember the letters. Okay. And I asked one time, I'm like, what? Because it surprised me. And I said, well, where does the money go? Well, I don't know. Well, no, that's not good enough for me. I don't have anybody coming up and saying, would you like to donate money to the Black Lives Matter? Would you like to donate money to the Christian faith, the Muslim faith, the Buddhism? There is no other place where you can go to a store, right? They ask if you want to donate money for heart, cancer, all these things for some funding so that we can come up with cures. But there is no other group of people where they ask you at a store if you would like to donate. Okay? No, I don't want to donate. You can't even tell me where the money's going, first of all. So this is too much in your face. You go do you. My uncle the same man. Sorry?
I think also too is like with the LGBTQ community, it's all races together as one. It's a huge group.
Yes.
Whereas Black Lives Matter and things like that, it's only people who are for that. right? It's not even, some people are for it, but they're afraid to be a part of it. Like, if we had that amount of people pushing for, as they do the LGBTQ, I feel like the world will be a lot different. But
I
that's
think-
never going to happen. There's never going to be as many, because that's a group that,
You just said the word though, Angel. Pushing.
yeah,
They're pushing.
yeah.
It's a force. Okay.
But
They're
it's a
pushing.
but it's a united force amongst other races. It's not just one exclusive.
No,
you know what
I
I
hear
mean?
you there. No, I
Yeah.
hear you there. I do hear you. But it's got to
Yeah.
end somewhere where it's like, just go live your life. Nobody's telling you that you can't. And I mean this with respect, because I know you guys have had, I know, Tamil, you just told me about racism that you faced and stuff, right? Like, you didn't say that, Angel, but Angela said it and Tamela said it. So we're not saying that you can't come and sit in a restaurant with us, or that, you can't use the same water fountain as us. Like, that is not what's happening with this community. Okay. There's no force like that sort of bully racism sort of thing. Go be you. We don't have to watch it. We don't have to have it in every single thing. I cannot go outside and scream, I'm a Christian, I love Jesus Christ. I can't even go into a government building and say that. But oh my gosh, you can be as flamboyant as you want, and you can do whatever you want if you are gay, lesbian,
Right.
whatever it is. So
But
it's
Yeah,
not-
even take that out, if you take that out of the
Yeah.
equation, taking that out of the equation, look how much sex in media is being pushed on our kids. Like, just heterosexual sex that is all over TV,
You're
all
right.
over media. Like,
Yeah.
but we're not talking about that because that's normal. But like,
But that's wrong. No, you're wrong there, because we do
It's
talk about it. We
yeah,
do
that's an
talk about it.
No, that's what they have normalized it. They normalized it. They made that feel normal. When they started introducing it to TV, when they do stuff like that, they introduce these different things. They do so they can normalize it, so they can make it feel like this is what's supposed to be happening, because this is what's
Right.
happening. This is what you see. This is what you should be doing.
That's right.
And that's what they've done. Even with Black Lives Matter. With Black Lives Matter, they use even Black Lives Matter to push the LGBTQ community. They did that. Because if you go back and you really research and do your research on the Black Lives Matter, it ain't even about Black Lives Matter, to be honest.
no.
Those that really
I was
know
just using
truly
that
about Black
as
Lives
a,
Matter.
yeah, I was just using that as like a social group, just saying like that are pushing like
Yeah.
for the purpose of not necessarily that,
But we
because
push
they
the
do a lot
wrong
of
we,
shady
we,
stuff.
we
I know
push
they
the wrong things on our babies.
Yeah.
And too much, and they've been pushing sex, and they've been pushing stuff. You go back and you look at a lot of the stuff in Disney, and in a lot of the stuff that you don't even see, but you go back and you listen to some of the sounds, and you listen to some of the things. Like TikTok has showed me a whole lot. I mean, they broke down a lot of these Disney movies and broke down the different little things and the different little stuff that you didn't even see in the movie unless you was really, really focused in on it. Like, it's so much sex in these children movies to you. If you ain't focused in on it, you don't know. And if nobody revealed this stuff to me, I wouldn't have never noticed it. And it's been
True.
going on for decades. It ain't just started happening. And if you really go back and look at a lot of these Disney movies and look at them, listen to some of the things that's being said. Look at some of the shadows that come up on the walls and the different things. But you got to be focused in on it to even see
But
and hear
You
it.
don't even. It's
But this has
it's
been
even
going
more
on
in our face.
For decades.
It's even more in our face than that, Angela. Just you have to listen. All you have to do is listen to music now. Look at the Miley Cyruses of the world, right? I hear you, Angel. I hear you. You're right.
Music is over with. Music is never going to be the same. Music is never going to be the same. Like, when was the last time you heard some good music? Just being honest. That does not talk about downgrading, sexual content, all kind of stuff. They have normalized a lot of stuff through stuff that we are accustomed to. music, TV, stuff that they know music and TV is raising a lot of our kids. Because guess what? When these babies come out the womb, they got access to phones, they got the access to tablets, and some of them can work this stuff better than we can. And it's straight out the womb. Because guess what? When the babies start crying, you take them to church. Guess what? They start crying, you're giving them a tablet. You're giving them something to play with. That's what's happening. See, when I was coming up, we didn't have all that stuff. So we didn't have all that. When we went to church, we had to sit there and listen. We didn't have all this different. No, we didn't have it. So it's a different breed of people. We are allowing different things to raise our kids. That's what's happening.
Yeah, and I guess it's true, Angel. Like, it doesn't matter if it's homosexual or if it's heterosexual. Sex is being pushed.
Right.
The agenda on our
Right.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely true. You're absolutely right.
And like you all said, you got to understand, gay people been here for years. Okay, I got gay people in my family, and somebody asked me about this. I said, let me tell you, God said love everybody. That's one thing, but He did not say accept this, and that's a difference because they being blunt, and that's what aggravates me with the bluntness of I'm going to throw it in your face and you're going to accept it. Why you just can't live your life and leave me alone? Why you got to throw it in my face? Gay people been here for years. I got gay people in my family. I got gay friends. People say, what? You got gay friends? I sure do. Very nice people. But they don't throw that gayness. They don't put, hey, girl. They don't do all that in my face. They don't put all that in my face. That's a difference. It's called respect. If you want me to respect you, respect me. You need to have boundaries. Don't throw all your stuff on me. And you don't want me to throw my stuff on you. Have respect. If you know I don't like that, don't throw that in my face. And that's what's going on. They blunt with it, and they want to throw it in your face, and they want to throw it down your throat. And they say you better take it and you better accept it. Why do I have to take it? Why you just can't live your life and leave me alone? Just live your life and leave me alone.
I don't even like.
Get more blunt with racism. Maybe we'll see a difference. Maybe we need to get more blunt.
I don't even like this.
Maybe we'll see a lot more people change. I don't know. Like if they're getting blunt and it's being crammed down, then maybe if we do the same, it'll be different.
I don't even like to see heterosexuals making out in front of me. Okay. I don't like to see all that stuff. I don't like to see it in movies. I don't like to see it in front of me. If people are it doesn't matter who you are. I don't want to see it. So have some respect. Have some respect.
Absolutely. Kentucky guy, you're awful quiet, my friend. So we'll give you the last word on this subject.
Well, I was just listening to the conversation. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
So, first of all, this group, they're going to be okay. They're going to find venues that'll allow them to speak. And what I would say to them, the Promise Keepers, is, you've been doing this I think they've been doing it right around 13 years now. So they've been around a while. And these venues that are canceling on you, shake the dust off your feet and walk away. God does not put cowards in His army. So just walk away. There will be a venue that'll accept you. No doubt in my mind. Now, when it comes to the bullying part, I'm just going to say something real quick. I don't want to open up a can of worms or anything. There's different types of bullying. And when you come to mess with somebody's livelihood and what they do for a living, and you bully or you pressure these venues to not have these people, that's going a little too far. Let's be honest about it. And yes, I think we're all guilty. These other organizations are guilty of it to an extent. Of course they are. They're trying to get their point across. But is it passion or is it bullying? There's a fine line there. And Black Lives Matter, I think I said this on the last episode, great concept. Great concept. I'm a true believer in the concept. However, you had a few radicals take it over, and they've lost their way. Let's just be honest about it. Antiva, same thing. You've got these guys like George Soros backing them, and they've lost their way. Let's just be honest. And there's other groups as well, but anyways, the concept of Black Lives Matter, I'm a huge supporter of it. But you got to get back to basics. You got to get back to what it's truly for. Not being radical, not starting riots. I mean, I never did understand people destroying their own city, because you got to live there. The buildings and everything, you've got to go out and you've got to look at that every day. And are you going to sit there and say, oh yeah, I set that place on fire? No, you're going to be embarrassed. In the heat of the moment, I understand, but there's just so much to unpack here, Steve. Not enough time, but these Promise Keepers, the original article, I think they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. I like this group a lot. They stand their ground, and we need to see actually more of that. We really do in America. If you're not afraid to walk up and down the street, two guys holding hands, why should I be afraid to wear a hat that says I love Jesus? What's the difference? I mean, this is one country. I'm not going to say anything to those guys. Let them go. Have fun. If Tommy is 18 or older and he wakes up this morning and he wants to be Sally, that doesn't affect my life whatsoever. Let him be Sally. Just don't shove it down my throat. Don't make me call you Sally, because I know you as Tommy. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that's my little 2 cents on that.
Okay, great.
I just want to say, you said 17 years for Promise Keepers. It's been 33 years, I think.
That sounds a whole lot.
Oh, okay. I'd seen a thing where they were founded in December 3rd, 1990. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's not 17.
Yeah. You know what? Do not make fun of my math. But
That's
you are
okay.
correct.
2 + 2 is 5 in my world too. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
know.
It's not 13.
I know a doctor that wears a T-shirt that says there's 3 kinds of people in the world: those that are good at math and those that aren't. Get it?
All right,
Anyway.
Steve.
Okay. Anyway, it has been a wonderful conversation. See, it's good when we have all these ladies in here, Kentucky Guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And Angel, you're not the only woman in the house anymore. So that means you need to be here every time now. No excuse now.
Thank you.
I know you're a busy lady. Always glad to see all of you here when you can make it. There's no obligation that you have to be here every time, but if you can, you're always welcome. So far, I'm the only one that's been here every time, but Kentucky Guy's doing pretty good, though. He's on the road. So. Anyway, I like to let everybody give a minute plug for whatever's going on in their life. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'll go ahead and that lady sitting beside me, Tamala, you want to do a 1-minute plug on what's going on with you?
Yes, I have a ministry called Come Home, Start Talking About It. We have a podcast, so I always have people come on, give a testimony. I'm also an author. I have 6 books out there on Amazon, and I'm also a gospel singer and gospel songwriter. So I have 1 single out, but waiting to get the rest of my songs out.
Glad to have you with us, Tamala. Kentucky Guy.
Oh, let these ladies go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jim?
I thought I was on mute. Okay. So up here you see I have This Is Your City. Yes, that's my podcast, This Is Your City, but I want to plug in Developing Inner Excellence, which is a coaching, counseling, and also public speaker, as well as I'm in the process now of doing a conference the beginning of 2024, a women's conference. So it's going to be great. Just if you ever think about being your prayers, pray about that. But yeah, so public speaker, coach, counselor, and of course my podcast. But I want to plug developing inner excellence right now. So thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Good deal. Angela?
So I have a couple podcasts that I am a part of. I am the visionary of the Crew podcast, where Apostle Tamala is also, she's my co-visionary. We decided that we wanted to be the change that we wanted to see in this world. So we created the Crew podcast, and right now we have 7 amazing hosts that's a part of that network. I am also the visionary behind Aspiring Authors Magazine. I believe in allowing individuals an opportunity to share their brand, to share their perspective, to share those things that they think that nobody wants to hear, or they don't have a voice, they don't have a place to voice those opinions. I utilize my magazine to do that. I just want to be the change that I desire to see in this world. I can be followed. Oh yeah, I have a new book that dropped on tonight. It is a 31-day devotional bringing awareness to domestic violence. I am a 9-year domestic violence survivor, shot blank range with a sawed-off shotgun. I shouldn't be here, but God extended His grace and His mercy one more time to give me a chance to do exactly what I do. I am the author of now 69 books, and they're all on Amazon and Blurb. I just want to be an outlet to let everyone know that yes, you can. When everybody tells you no, yes, you can. Because I believe in Jeremiah 29:11, and I paraphrase it. He said He had a plan for us, and that is to prosper us, for us to be in good health, for us to have hope in the future. And I truly believe in that. So I am an example, a living testimony of Jeremiah 29:11. You can check me out on a Linktree, Queen of Collaboration. It has all of my various links. You can check out some of my books. You can check out some of my podcasts, the different places that they are located. And again, I always have to thank you, Mr. Steve, for allowing us to be a part of this platform and allowing us to allow our voices to speak. So thank you.
All right. Angel?
Oh, okay, there we go. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm on TV One's Fatal Attraction. So I do episodes as a forensic expert. So my episode is coming out this month. Super excited, another one. I also I'm working with a therapist to get out my women's empowerment program so that it'll be implemented within her facility. I also got news I'll be speaking at Alabama State University in January about human trafficking and bringing awareness to that. And with that, I'm going to be bringing my theatrical production. That's all about human trafficking and what that looks like. Kind of gives a visual to the younger, sometimes you could tell them until you're blue in the face, they don't get it. But when they see it in front of them, in a theatrical version, it kind of hits home. So I'm very excited about partaking in that. So those are some things I have coming up.
To make positive
What was that?
power.
Oh, we shout out Angel. I love what you're doing. I am a human trafficking advocate here in South Fulton County. So yeah, shout out to you.
Yes, you too. We'll have to connect.
Kentucky guy?
So I host the Red Pill Current News podcast. Basically, we talk about current events, mainly political, though. I can't seem to get away from that. Also, co-host Against the Mat wrestling podcast for all of you sports fans out there. We've got a lot going on. I've got a link tree, but I don't remember the name of it. Sorry, I'll try to bring that. But actually, Steve and I are getting ready to start a podcast. I guess I'll let you tell them more about that. I cannot remember the name. Something about 2 dudes on a porch or something. So
2 dudes on that porch.
there we go.
There you go.
It's a sports podcast as well. So I think that's going to start a week from tomorrow. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it should be a lot of fun. And, just appreciate you guys. I love the topics that we talk about on this show. That's why I'm here as much as I can be. And it needs to be said, you cannot turn on the television and see the correct thing on our mainstream media anymore. So outlets like this is where I get my news from. I'm
There
going
you
to be
go.
honest with you. We are the digital soldiers. So keep doing what you guys are doing. And I think it's great, Miss Collaboration, that you're on so many podcasts spreading the message. And I'm glad to hear that you guys each have your own podcast. And I may bring you on for an interviews on mine just to see how deep you can go. So
All right. Speaking of interviews, this past Friday, I interviewed Angela Thomas Smith, and that's on my other channel, Friday Night Conversations. So feel free to check that out. Going to have Kentucky Guy on soon. I've had Angela on and had Angela on 2 or 3 of my podcasts over the years, or Angela rather. And Kim, I've had her on Holding On with Holder a couple of years ago. And Kim, if you're willing, we'll have you on Friday Night Conversations. So if you're interested, you can tell us all about all kinds of stuff. And you too, Tamala, if you're interested. So yeah, I've got this podcast, Friday Night Conversations, and the one Kentucky Guy and I are going to be doing it, 2 dudes on the back porch. And we're going to be talking about wrestling. Yeah.
I love it.
So my books are available on Amazon.com. I have 13 now, so check them out if you want to. And my 10 copies for all your friends and all that stuff. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. I am truly blessed to have all of you here. I love the collaboration we're doing, and I love the conversation, and I love everything that we're doing. So proud to have you all here on the Night Crew. And thanks to everyone for tuning in tonight on another exciting episode of the Night Crew. So we'll say good night to everybody. Good night to everybody that joined in. Have a great week and hope everybody stays safe, clean, and happy.
have a great one.
Bye-bye.
I want to say, ladies, I mean, Kentucky Guy too. Kentucky Guy, obviously. But ladies, thank you. You guys, you're brilliant. And it's great to hear different women with different, thoughts and opinions and, different, all of us, each and every one of us have a different story, but a story we have. And I love listening to you guys. Angel, we've been on one before together. And
Yes.
when I saw you, I smile because I just love what you bring to the table. I love your way of looking at the other side and bringing that to us. So ladies, it's been wonderful. Kentucky Guy, it's been great again. I hope we meet up again sometime. Thank you, Steve, for having us.